Hi, it's Margaret from Let's Learn to Sew, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to read a sewing pattern. Let's begin with what you'll find on the front side of the envelope. You're going to see the manufacturer, the pattern number, the sizes that are included in it, and on the front of it you'll see pictures of the views that are included, and they're going to be marked with letters. When we turn it over, we're going to find even more information. We have the pattern number, how many pieces are in the pattern, illustrations of the back side, and then this area here has all of the information that we need in order to purchase the supplies for the project. We have the suggested fabrics, and you do want to pay attention to the fabrics that are suggested. This is going to give you the best drape, which is how the fabric hangs, for the project that you're creating. You'll see what type of notions you need, and notions include things such as thread, zippers, hooks and eyes, buttons, and different types of trim. Now here you're going to see the measurements, and they're going to correspond to the measurements that you saw in the back of the pattern book. You got your bust, your waist, your hip, and your measurement from the back of the neck to the waist. What you'll do is you'll come across, you'll find your measurements, and then you'll work your way down to which pattern size you need to cut out. Now in this section, you're going to find which view you're making, and it's going to show you how much fabric you need to purchase. So if I'm making dress A, I'm going to go across here. If I need a size 8, I see that I need 2 1/4 yards of fabric. And you have two different measurements under the amount of fabric. You have for 45-inch fabric or for 60-inch fabric. Then it shows you how much fabric you need to purchase for the contrasting collar and the interfacing. A little bit further down, we're going to see the finished garment measurements. These are the measurements that include the seam allowance. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside of our envelope. We have the tissue paper, which is the pattern pieces that we're going to cut out, and we have our instructions. On the instructions, you'll see illustrations of the pattern again, and you'll see what the actual pattern numbers are and what they look like. This makes identifying the pieces that you're cutting out easier. You'll also find how they suggest laying out the fabric based on what size fabric you've purchased and which view you're going to sew. And again, it gets even more in depth as you go through the instructions. Now, at the top area, you're always going to find some general instructions that explain the different symbols that you're going to find on the pattern, and it'll give you some real basic terms that they use in the pattern that they think you may not know. Flip this over, and it starts going through step by step how to put the garment together. You want to make sure that when you first start your project, you always read through the instructions before you actually start laying anything out or cutting anything. This is going to help you know how to best prepare for the project. For your actual pattern, it's a very thin tissue paper, and you'll find that the pattern pieces are going to be numbered, and those are going to correspond to the numbers in the instructions. It's going to tell you what the pattern piece is. So this is the front, and it's the front for A, B, or C. It tells me how many to cut. It also is going to have these markings, and these markings are what we're going to transfer onto the fabric when we get ready to cut it out. And we notice that we have several different markings with the sizes. What we do is we trace around whatever size we need, and we want to cut right on the black line. We want to make sure that when we cut out our pattern that we're using our craft scissors and not our fabric scissors. Now, if you have any questions about how to read a pattern envelope, let me know and I'll be happy to answer your questions.